Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Dustin on Blue-White Bomberman. It is a Gyruda build versus Sean on Bant Infect. Infect, a very powerful deck. We've seen it do incredibly dangerous things very quickly. We've also seen it flounder, and that's one of the main issues with Infect, I believe, is the consistency. So you really want equal measures of threats, pump spells, and counter spells, and mana. It's very difficult to ride that line. When it comes together perfectly, you are in incredible shape, but when it doesn't, the deck can flounder. And we've got a Force of Will thrown at Urza. Oh no, was that off of a cavern? Is that what I just saw? Oh, that is absolutely devastating. Cavern of Souls, making it uncounterable. So, Force of Will down. We'll see where that becomes relevant later on. The Urza was not going to be able to be stopped no matter what, but it did additional damages. Sean is now out of cards from hand. Actually, I don't see them in the graveyard. It looks like Dustin might have just pointed out that it was a cavern. We've got Mox Opal, thanks to Urza, coming out with a Stone Coil Serpent. And that gets dazed. The Force of Will pitching Spell Pierce now is used for the Stone Coil Serpent. So yes, Dustin allowing that take back. We do see that more with the webcam events. It is much easier to miss something like a Cavern of Souls. We have a little bit more patience with each other, and that is nice to see. Noble Hierarch powering out this Glistener Elf and a Inkmoth Nexus waiting in the wings. Urza can stand in the way of this Glistener Elf very effectively, but the Inkmoth is going to be another story. City of Traders going to the bin. And it looks like another giant Stone Coil Serpent. This one an 8/8. Wow, and staying home. Dustin keeping back the huge blocker. I don't know that I can agree with that. I'll be alright. Doesn't have haste. I don't know why I was thinking it had haste. Stone Coil Serpent currently just able to block. It does have reach. There are a lot of words on that card, and it still feels very new to me. It's funny, a card that's like a year old still feels new. But the reach here gonna be coming into play. The old RTFC situation. We've got a couple of Invigorates, and that takes down the Stone Coil Serpent. But that is a lot of gas. And there's a very clear mission here, which is to deal 10 Infect. That would have been lethal. But that Stone Coil Serpent has reach, does not have haste. And it looked like Urza's spinning the wheel. Dustin's almost out of gas. Oh, a Stifle stopping that. So 5 mana investment for nothing. And we'll see what Sean has left Sylvan Library doing some heavy lifting this game, continually funneling the best cards into Sean's hand. And at this point, paying that extra life, totally worth it if he's able to get additional damage through and close this game out, as it is a matter of time before Dustin will just be able to get there with either Gyruda from the sideboard or Urza spinning that wheel. And he's giving it a go again. Dustin's life total really not an issue. This one's going to resolve. And let's see what it is here. A Mox Opal. Not the most exciting thing you could get there. One of the worst. 3 mana. I'm not sure what I just saw there. I'm not sure what that mana was for. Oh, that was to add the companion to hand. Sorry, that didn't register at first. So Gyruda added to hand. Typically, that's going to happen with infinite mana. So sure, Gyruda for 3 mana makes perfect sense. Glistener Elf and Inkmoth Nexus trying to push through enough poison damages. Dustin is faltering here. Gyruda coming down. And we're going to see the 4 coming off the top. And it looks like a Walking Ballista. Going to enter and then die as a state-based effect. So nothing too spectacular there. Later on, with a Auriok Salvagers and a Lion's Eye Diamond, that will be lethal if that comes together. Urza's Bauble finds a Daze. And now crop rotation. Grabs that Pendelhaven. Speeding up the clock a little bit, be able to pump the Inkmoth Nexus and then attack and then get the pump from Noble Hierarch. So really just one pump spell from hand at this point would be lethal. Standing it up. And turning sideways. And there's an Invigorate. Does Dustin have anything to say about this, or will we be on to the next game? That was a real train wreck of a game. Both of these decks capable of literally winning on the second turn, sometimes even faster in the case of Bomberman. They have some turn 1 wins available to them. But Infect finally getting that last pump spell, expending a huge amount of resources to clear that Stone Coil Serpent, and I don't blame Sean for not remembering exactly what all the text is on that card. Unless he totally knew what he was doing, that's possible. I don't know that I would have played it that way. I feel like you probably just wait until you get another flyer out and then just pump the one that he doesn't block. I don't think you actively look to dump your pump spells to clear that Stone Coil Serpent. But Reach Trample, Protection from Multicolored. There's a lot of text on that card. Haste is not one of them. That would be absolutely ridiculous. And Bomberman going to be on the play. Gets that companion at basically no cost. They really don't have to make any type of adjustments Feels a little bit like a Hearthstone card, caring about odd and even costs. That's something that we actually saw in Hearthstone at one point. Decks caring about that type of deck construction. It's a little tougher in Magic just because of the sideboard. I mean, it is kind of a mess. Hopefully that doesn't end up happening at some point. We've got a Stonecoil Serpent at 1. And Mishra's Bauble sees a Glistener Elf. Yeah, there's a lot of design space and deck building left that could still be done with Auriok Salvagers. I mean, there were builds back in the day that were running like Animate Dead and just using Lion's Eye Diamond to discard the Auriok Salvagers and then reanimate. I mean, there's all sorts of shenanigans that we've seen. Glistener Elf sends or Exhume, was it? Might have been Exhume. There's all sorts of potential shenanigans with Lion's Eye Diamond. The card is just so strong. Noble Hierarch pushing through some early damage here. And good news for Dustin as Sean gets out that Poison Tracker. Could have been a lot worse. Could have just seen a couple of pump spells and called this one a quick match. But with Lion's Eye Diamond on board, at pretty much any time, this could be over with an Auriok Salvagers. The combo's definitely better in Vintage, where you get to use Black Lotus. But here we go. Discarding the hand. Getting infinite mana. Sean has no interaction for this. And now the Lotus Petal and the Stonecoil Serpent coming back. Mishra's Bauble. Gyruda. So we've got a infinite Stonecoil Serpent. And Urza on top of it. Dustin's got all of the goods here, as now Urza with infinite mana allows the entire library to get flipped as well. So a spectacular finish of that game for Dustin. That is exactly the type of synergy that would lead you to play this deck, is that ability to just go completely ham once you have infinite mana, thanks to Auriok Salvagers and the Lion's Eye Diamond. That 4 mana for the Salvagers, kind of the main concern, but I mean, this is a really solid archetype. One that I think is largely underplayed. I mean, we've seen a little bit of mono white. I really like this blue-white build. I think there's a lot of potential. And we're seeing some pretty spectacular gameplay out of it at times. We don't have as many people playing Legacy right now, which is, of course, a shame. That's always important for us to see people playing Legacy. That is one of the main reasons I actually opened a store, and a motivating factor behind running these events every Wednesday and Friday as well, making sure that we keep this whole thing going, doing our part, and you can join the fun. We play live over Discord. We're going to be getting some larger events going in 2021, and those will be invitationals. So we're going to be building our community, and we're going to be doing some special stuff for people in that community this upcoming year. So that means the people that are playing on a weekly basis, we will have larger events with bigger prizes. For people that are trusted members of our community, of course, we need to make sure that we have the integrity of our events, and very little incentive to cheat in a weekly event. But of course, putting out a huge prize for strangers from all over the world is some poor incentives. So we're going to do everything we can do to address that, and just get to know people over the course of many weeks playing together, and then continue to provide excellent experiences for those players. Sean not currently having an excellent experience, as this Chalice at 1 going to be a real pain. Oh, wow, he's got Force of Vigor, though. Scratch that. Leaving Dustin with just a City of Traders, and that turns on a dime. So Sean was in terrible shape for a moment, long enough for me to point it out, but then Force of Vigor completely reverses the board state, leaving Dustin with just a City of Traders, and now that city is destroyed as another City of Traders comes down, or is sacrificed more accurately. But wow, City of Traders is not a great permanent to have as your only permanent once you're past, turn 1. There are certainly games where you can lead out with that, and it can be exciting, but this is getting very dangerous. A ensnaring bridge does threaten to be an issue, but all Dustin needs is a single card in hand for Sean to be able to get underneath that ensnaring bridge and then pump after the fact. So let's see if he's got the mana to go along with this. He's got a Lion's Eye Diamond. And yeah, he's going to be able to jam this Cavern of Souls into Ensnaring Bridge. He's got a Lion's Eye Diamond to empty his hand. Will Dustin stabilize here? And will he be able to stay stabilized given how meager his mana base is? I mean, this is a very much up in the air game. He's ditching some lands. He is making sure he's not going to take any more damage. And he's dropping another Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, he's got another Force of Vigor. What a savage. What an absolute savage. Dustin moving all in on that plan. Karn gets cleared. Not a typical role for these Infect creatures, but they'll take a slight break away from going for the throat to clear that Karn, make sure there's no more shenanigans there, and Dustin is just devastated here. Moved all in on that double Ensnaring Bridge, and Sean again with Force of Vigor, just absolute bombs being thrown here, and it looks like he should be able to just kind of continually push through this additional damage with Infect. We'll see if he has a pump spell. It would be a mercy at this point to just end this game, as Dustin threw quite a lot of roadblocks in the way, but Sean ultimately pushing through the damage. Dustin drawing a single card for turn. It's a Stone Coil Serpent. Little defense there. Can mess with stuff a little. And oh, I didn't actually see what that was, but Sean now scooping it up. I'm sorry, Dustin now scooping it up as Sean just totally blowing up the board there with a pair of Force of Vigors in devastating fashion. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.